Hello there, this is Suzette Vearnon and welcome to my channel where I'm redefining my 60s on my own terms. Thank you so much for joining me today because out of all the things that you could be doing right now, the fact that you're taking time out to listen to me talk means so very much, and I appreciate you very, very much for continuing to listen. Now, if this is your first time, a hearty Southern girl, welcome. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice or not. I've been told that I sound more Southern with people that I know than I do when I'm being professional. So, but anyway, just know that you are so very welcome here. And if this is your first time, I'm redefining my 60s on my own terms. And I wanted to start a channel where someone who looked like me, with my skin color and my hair texture, was talking about things that really were important to me as I entered into retirement and entered more fully into my 60s. As of my taping today here in 2025, I am 65 years young. And so it is absolutely such a blessing to be able to talk to you and to share some things that I feel like would be very, very helpful. There's so much to talk about. So you're probably going to see this outfit in multiple videos. But if I try to put it all in one video, the video would just be too long. So this one, I am going to talk about something that I'm wondering if you're experiencing it too. When I reached 65, I started having some real issues with dry skin. Now, while it's true that being a black woman, ashy skin has been something that I've always had to put lotions or creams or that good old Vaseline on, it seemed like the dryness just came with an extra vengeance. I mean, my skin was so dry that if I wore a pair of leggings, when I got ready to take those leggings off, the inside of my leggings would look like dandruff, big dandruff flakes had been sprinkled all inside of them. That's how dry and flaky my skin was. And I noticed it seemed like it just got significantly more pronounced when I turned 65. And in a previous episode, I shared with you how was it? I think it was coconut oil. How coconut oil was my friend, right? And so if you haven't watched that episode, please watch it. But I also wanted to give you an update because I've noticed something significant that I wanted to share with you. I was advised by my primary care physician to go see my OBGYN because when she was examining me for a different issue, she saw some things that she felt like I needed to see my OBGYN about. So when I went to my OBGYN for some redness in my private area, she prescribed for me estradiol cream. This is my package, right? It's 0.01% estradiol cream. And of course, she was prescribing it for the redness that she saw. But let me tell you what has happened since I have been using it. Now, I started out on a very, very low dose, like a little bit of cream, about the amount of the eraser on a pencil. And I would put it in my private area where the redness was. And she told me to do it every day, just a little bit of it at bedtime, every day, just around the area, not going all up inside my vagina, but just around the area, the vulva area. And that's what I did. And then I went and saw her after a month, and she asked me how I was doing. And I told her that the stinging that I would feel whenever I would urinate had gone away. Now, that was one of the symptoms that I had But of course, she saw redness. But when we were talking about it, I did tell her, she asked me, she said, do you ever itch or is there any stinging or anything? I said, well, when I urinate, I do sting. I said, and so when we had our meeting, I told her, I said, well, I'm not having that stinging anymore. She said, very good, very good. Well, she told me to up it to 1 gram. Now, I'm going to show you the applicator, right, that you use for the cream, right? And I'll keep it in the plastic because I want to keep it clean. But you can see the little pump here. What you do is you pull that out, screw it on the estradiol cream tube, and then as you're squeezing the bottom of the tube, this goes up. And when it goes up to the point that this 1 gram shows right up here, then I stop. And she told me to insert just 1 gram. Like, so this goes up to here. So it's just maybe it goes up to about that much cream. From here to that much cream, right? And she said to insert it, don't go deep inside, but to insert it near my vaginal opening and to start doing that. Maybe 2-3 times a week. Well, I started doing it. And let me tell you what I noticed almost immediately. That skin dryness went away significantly. Now, I had no idea that the dryness that I was experiencing, I mean flaking, just flaking to the point that I almost didn't want to wear shorts or short sleeve shirts because I would, especially if I wore something that was fitting, my legs are fitting on my arms. When I take it off, I'd have just this, flakiness. It's just extremely dry. Almost to the point I almost wondered if I was diabetic because around my feet got really cracked and flaky and all that. Of course, we ruled diabetes out, but I still was having that dryness and everything. Well, I noticed when I started using that dryness started disappearing. Now, I still have the normal dryness. So I still need to use lotion and creams and oils and things like that. But what I have noticed is that it has significantly, the dryness has significantly decreased. And I'll tell you, I could tell it so very, very, very much. And so even though I'm wearing like some of these capri pants that are kind of like leggings, they are tight around the knee, they fit, I've noticed that when I take them off, or when I took them off before using this, of course I'd have that dryness, that flakiness all on the inside. I noticed that since using the estradiol cream, the way my OBGYN has advised me to do, no flakes inside of my leggings. So I wanted to share that with you all because I don't know if you were like me, where when I started going through the change of life and all that kind of thing, hormone replacement therapy was getting a really bad rep. There were articles that talked about how it would increase your likelihood of developing cancer and all these different things. But I was really amazed to find out when I listened to Oprah Winfrey's Menopause 101, and I'll put the link to that in my description. I was really surprised to know she said she had been on hormone replacement for years. And you know, Oprah just crossed over into the 70s now. She's in her 70s now. She says she had been using hormone replacement. Now, it varies. Sometimes there's low dose, that kind of thing. So hormone replacement therapy is not a one size fits all, right? So it's up to your doctor's discretion as to whether your doctor feels like that might be something that could be helpful to you. but the dryness, the stinging when I urinated, and the flakiness of my skin, I have discovered was definitely a symptom of not having enough estrogen. So I do know that. And what I also found out is that if you've had a hysterectomy, you need estrogen, but you don't need progesterone. But if you still have your organs, you might have to find out whether it's estrogen that you need or whether it's progesterone that you need. And I didn't even know that until recently, right? So that's why it's so very important to check in with your doctor before you take everything that you hear people say that help them. So I always want to say, check in with your primary care physician, someone who knows your medical history very, very well, before you just go off and do things that people recommend. I'm just sharing this as maybe something that you might want to explore with your physician, because I'm 65 and I noticed these symptoms, but I did not know that they were related to an estrogen deficiency. I did not know it. So I just wanted to let you all know that I've noticed that I'm not as dry in my vaginal area. I've noticed I didn't lose my sex drive after I had my hysterectomy. But I did notice that from having the estradiol cream, I just feel more perky in those areas, if that makes sense. I just feel more perky, a little bit more oomph to me. So, there's so many areas of our womanhood that are affected when we go through menopause, or when we have a hysterectomy, or when we reach a certain age. And so I just wanted to share that with you. And if you have any things that you know, maybe some things that you have discovered in your 60s that you want to share, please put it in the comments. Because as I often say, I'm sharing my experiences. But hey, it might not be the experience of someone who's listening to me, but yet what you put in the comments could be a game changer for them. So if there's something that you want to add, experiences that you've had that you feel like would be useful and helpful to my followers and those that are listen to my content, please feel free to put that in the comments. And if you like what I'm sharing, whether it's about redefining travel or redefining love or just redefining your 60s in general, then I ask that you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, because then you'll get notified when a new episode drops, right? And I want to go on and drop a little bit of tea to let you know that I'm going to be sharing something in my Redefining Love series that is going to be a really thought-provoking question that you will want to answer for yourself. The other questions have primarily been, to kind of ask a potential partner or to pay attention to with a potential partner. Some things, are things you should ask yourself. But this one coming up is something specifically that you will need to resolve, in my opinion, before you even start thinking about dating seriously. Because if you don't start resolving it before you start dating seriously, or you get into a serious relationship, it's going to come up in what triggers you when in a romantic space. So be on the lookout for that. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, please like, share, subscribe. Leave any feedback or thoughts in the comments. I read them myself and I respond to them myself. So until the next video, I'll talk to you later. Bye.